Class 5, Direct and Indirect Object. Before we delve into the differences between direct and indirect objects, let us first define what they are. Direct and indirect objects are two types of objects in a sentence. An object is a noun, pronoun, or phrase that receives the action of your verb in a sentence. In simple terms, the object is the receiver of the action. Now we are going to with the definitions. First, direct objects. These are nouns or pronouns that directly receive the action of the verb in your sentence. For example, in the sentence, the dog chased the cat, the direct object is the cat as it is the receiver of the action chased. On the other hand, indirect objects are nouns or pronouns that indicate to or for whom, or for what the action of the verb is performed. In other words, it is the recipient of the direct object. What is the main difference between direct and indirect objects? Well, the main difference is that direct objects receive the action of the verb directly, while indirect objects indicate to or for whom, or what the action of the verb is performed. In other words, direct objects receive the action of the verb, whereas indirect objects receive the direct object. Examples of direct and indirect objects in sentences. To understand direct and indirect objects better, let us look at some examples. He read the book. The direct object is the book as it receives the action of the verb read. She gave him a present. The direct object is a present as it receives the action of the verb gave. The indirect object is him as it indicates to whom the present was given. I wrote my friend a letter. The direct object is a letter as it receives the action of the verb wrote. The indirect object is my friend as it indicates to whom the letter was written. They offered her the job. The direct object is the job as it receives the action of the verb offered. The indirect object is her as it indicates to whom the job was offered. The role of direct versus indirect objects in sentence structure. Direct and indirect objects play an essential role in sentence structure. They provide additional information about the subject and the verb, and they help us understand the relationships between different elements in a sentence. Typically, direct objects come immediately after the verb in a sentence. For example, in the sentence, she ate the sandwich, the direct object the sandwich comes immediately after the verb ate. Indirect objects, on the other hand, come after the direct object and are usually preceded by the preposition to or for. For example, in the sentence, she gave the book to her friend, the direct object the book comes immediately after the verb gave, and the indirect object her friend comes after the direct object and is preceded by the preposition to. Direct and indirect object pronouns. In addition to nouns, direct and indirect objects can also be represented by pronouns. Direct object pronouns include me, you, him, her, it, us, and them. For example, in the sentence, he saw me, me is the direct object, and it can be replaced with the direct object pronoun him to become he saw him. Indirect object pronouns include me, you, him, her, it, us, and them. For example, in the sentence, she gave him the book, him is the indirect object, and it can be replaced with the indirect object pronoun her to become she gave her the book. And this is the end of the video class. Please continue watching all the videos, in this way you learn more about grammar. See you on next video.